privilege to just command situations. My name is Arnold. Welcome to the channel. If you subscribe to Conversations with Arnold, I assure you that we are going to have some life-defining conversations. You are going to be watching me vlog sometimes. Meet my lovely wife over here. Hi. We came out here to this fancy location to get some work done. I'm sitting here thinking, power is not what it looks like. It's actually responsibility disguised as the ability to command. You're sitting there at your workplace, so obsessed with being in a similar role, like your boss is just commanding, but you don't see the amount of work, the amount of responsibility that's behind the commanding. You don't see that every simple decision or choice, the authority that he has over situations, he can be questioned. Here's the thing about leadership, it's got a chain to it. Your boss has a boss, and their boss also has a boss. It looks so attractive to be in that position where you just command things, but it's not what it looks like. It's not the privilege to just command situations. There's a lot more work behind that. The boss is getting paid to make sure that the place is locked up. I don't know if I'm getting my point across. Any act of irresponsibility indirectly hits the leader. I'm just sharing my 2 cents on that, and I hope you get what I mean. So it's not about the crown of power. It's not about the glory. It's not about I have the ability to make decisions and I'm a big guy and I tell everybody what to do. Behind that lies the responsibility to make sure that through every command, it's like they said in Spider-Man, with great power comes great responsibility. I think I just found a way to put it in my own words, but it's basically saying the same thing. We are here at Mug and Bean to have a little bit of an espresso because my wife is into the coffee situation and I am coffee intolerant, so I am just accompanying her, Wow, 14. It's got like a Mexican chicken and shard corn. This is basically chicken wings coated with some spice and served with blue cheese. You never go wrong with chicken strips though. Originally, we came here for coffee, like I said, but we ended up browsing through the menu in curiosity and decided to try out one of the meals. While waiting for our order, we dove deep into some of our usual conversations concerning projects, finances, and our long-term investments. I personally love the window view here, so I picked the large table that's closest to it, also just to have a little bit more space. And of course, after a few minutes, our order arrived. Le voila. One mixed grill platter of spicy French fries, grilled chicken wings with the skin on, and grilled pork as well, that visible sear and glaze. Should bring us to a total of 1,180 calories. The service though is not extraordinary in any way, but the waiters are friendly, so can't complain. The pork was incredibly done according to me, as well as the chicken wings, kind of greasy and just soft enough for chewing. I'd say the meal was a solid 8 out of 10. The fries could have been better, but my wife begs to differ. She would like to think the chicken and pork could have used a bit more deep cooking, therefore rating the whole experience a 5 out of 10 for her. There are 3 things I wish I learned before I reached the age of 30, and in this video I want to share them with you. Now grab a pen and a marker. A pen and a marker are the same thing. The first one being the ability to commit to one thing for at least a period of 2 to 3 years without looking away from that thing into the next venture. Here's the thing, when we're young we have these passing interests, these flying ideas, and we follow this trail. We start a venture and then shift on to the next one. Eventually you find that you spend your 20s failing in multiple interests, multiple ventures, multiple ideas. Don't get me wrong, that leaves you with a bunch of experience, and you need experience in your 30s, but I find that most of the time we fail. The legendary Bruce Lee says, a successful man is one who is in mastery of his own focus. I don't know the exact words, I'll try to put them on the screen for you. But here's the thing, consistency and focus, these things go together. You find that most of the time, I don't know if it's Steve Harvey or Will Smith who says, we spread the little water that we have across different fields, and in the end we end up not succeeding in one major thing. You fail because you spread your energy, your time, commitment, and dedication to 7 different things, where if you could have committed to one of them, they would have succeeded. This is the blueprint in the creation of every successful man. They've had to be known for one thing. Dwayne Johnson was known for wrestling. Rihanna was known for a career in music before everything else came along. Today she's ranking the 21st billionaire that's self-made, under 40, with a net worth of 1.4 billion. But she was first known for her music, and she moved along to now having these 3 retail stores, which is selling makeup products and so on and so forth. I hope you get what I'm saying. If I could have learned to commit to doing one thing, I would have succeeded in something. Eventually, that something would have ignited the other projects that I would have tasted. The meat is so good. I haven't even tasted the chicken yet. In the sayings of an Arnold, I say, sometimes we reap in a fashion we're not used to. Sometimes you reap in a fashion that you're just not used to. You're expecting the reap in the form of cash, but you don't see that you're getting job experience, which is actually going to be so powerful on your next job. So sometimes you're not reaping in the form of cash. Sometimes the meat is just good. You know, the second thing that I wish I learned is to use my hands when things get a little tough. You gotta be able to use your hands when things get really hard. The second thing that I wish I learned, let's talk about that, to actually commit my childhood to gaining experiences in several fields. Here's the thing, at that time you don't know what you're going to become in your 30s. You don't know which career you will eventually move into. I could have used that time, especially when I'm not being driven by passion or interest, to actually get a lot of experiences. Customer service, I could have gotten experience in this and that, learned a thing or two about international markets, languages. You don't know what you're going to eventually do, so it will be best you give yourself some groundwork on almost anything. Later in your 30s, you just have to pick up from the foundation that you had already created. You get what I mean? But I guess that's sort of the flip side of things. That's what happens when you fail in several fields. If you're not licking your fingers, the meal was probably not that good. I think it was good. She thinks it was not that good.
One of the few things I wish I knew when I was younger, I mean like finishing high school. I wish I knew not to just like follow what you feel in your heart. Like at the time I was saying, I'm in love with architecture. That was because I've watched a series of this guy who's an architect. Being young, it's not like you know the outside world, but you know the things you see. So I had seen the architect, like a Korean drama, so I was like, from now, I just want to be an architect. Yes, I didn't manage to take that course, but I ended up doing something which I didn't actually feel like I want that much, but it was something that I could do. And it's given so much fruit to my life. But when I look at it, if I was younger, I could have taken a different route to say, okay, what works versus what I want. I could have like researched more into like what works out there in the outside world. When you're young, when you're a high school student, all you know is your parents take care of you. You know, they get everything done. You don't know the outside world. So that's one thing I will teach my children, like basically the adulthood life, just like a good brief, like, girl, sit down. I wish I knew the rough side of adulthood earlier. Like what I liked that time when I was younger, I don't like it today. I don't. Today I love customer service, but it was not even near in my heart at that time. I just wonder what looks good, what would look good. That's the mind of a teenager. Imagine me in that suit walking into my own office and I'm the boss of this.
Well said. Well said. But that being said, the third thing I wish I learned, actually this one I don't regret it because I did things right, to marry while young so that you start to build a life that's anchored around the interests of both of you and you start to kind of enjoy that ride instead of meet at a later age when you've already faced several struggles and you're self-made at that point. You face your darkest hours you made your million without that person, and then you kind of like meet later, and then it's like, okay, let's try to get along and everything. I do not regret that, getting married at a young age. We've faced some dark hours in our growth, and I think that's the beautiful thing about it. I find that if you're married at a later age, you're stripping the story that could have been with your partner. You're stripping them of that experience. You're kind of like ripping it away all to yourself. I would say commit to finding your partner at a young age so that you can chase life together. Don't build a life and then invite them to it. I also find that if you do that, if you start building a life without your partner, you guys can actually build a life. For some people, you can pursue lives that basically becomes a wall in between your relationship, a life that separates the two of you. You can create work that's like very demanding and time consuming and energy taking, and then it becomes the enemy in your relationship tomorrow.
How young is them when you say get married young? What do you mean? Like, what age?
I was 24, so I would say that you should start to commit yourself. It's like they said in Superman and Lois, don't do everything you can to find love. I would say start to date intelligently before the age of 25.
But the problem is their age is the age where people are actually schooling, like doing their degrees and everything.
Obviously, people have different timelines. I just feel like my timeline was like, as long as you make sure that you marry as early as you can, like don't waste time, don't take 10 years investing your mindset into, oh, I want to build a stable life first. You guys just need to have some form of foundation, like be able to start. Everything else will come afterwards. With that being said, if you made it to the end of this video, then thank you for watching, and please subscribe so that we can have life-defining conversations. As you can see, I take this whole thing seriously. My name is Arnold, and I don't know what your name is. Subscribe, see you in the next video, and watch another video.